Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and on the line with us, Congressman Mark Pocan. Pocan.house.gov, the website. You can tweet him at @RepMarkPocan. And Congressman, you're still with us, right?
I am.
There you are. Okay. Patricia in Portage, Wisconsin. You are on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Yeah, thank you both for being a voice of sanity in these crazy times. And I write the Mad Raven Speak wildlife column for the Capital Times the past 6 years. And I don't see any awareness of the urgency of biodiversity destruction except from the Vatican, who met on it, and nothing in our so-called leadership. And I am concerned about, step by step with wolves being returned to the states, if that is part of the legislation that is going forward in this week of activity on the Hill. And I just want to say that I live in the country in Wisconsin, and I experienced the changes in the past 15 years. And when you destroy natural predators down to barely nothing like we're doing, you get disease. So Wisconsin is epidemic with Lyme disease because of an explosion of mice and deer. We have all these diseases coming up, and it is expensive and harmful, and I have Lyme disease from living in the country where they destroyed our coyotes. And, I just think we have to stop this juggernaut of destroying non-human life, and I wonder if you know what's going to happen to our wolves.
Thank you, Patricia.
Yeah, Patricia, so let me, if I can, just take it a little bit higher up, because I think this might be a little broader for all the listeners around the country. So one of the things that we saw is this real big attack on Environmental Protection Agency. The Trump 2018 budget proposes a 31% cut overall, and many programs cut completely within the EPA. I think that's where a lot of our attention needs to focus, is on protecting those programs around clean air and clean water and protecting our biodiversity that right now are really going to be gutted under Republican attempts, I think, in the 2018 proposed budget. One of the interesting things, Thom, if I can, in the omnibus that we have today, just to show you, I think, part of why they're pushing this healthcare bill, is we did pretty well. We kept 99% of EPA's budget in the omnibus that's coming up. So for all the rhetoric and all the things that they want to do to go after those programs, we had a pretty good success today on it with the omnibus, but we need to keep people engaged, doing exactly what Patricia's doing, is talking about it. And, on specific issues around wolves and other things, I think we need to make sure we've got that biodiversity, not just in Wisconsin, the upper Midwest, but, there's specific issues across the country.
Steve in Piedmont, South Carolina, listening on Sirius XM. Hey, Steve, you're on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Hey, Steve and Thom. Thom and Congressman Pocan. Two quick questions, and I'll take it off the air. So the first one is, I've been very active with myself and my family protesting this year. I just want to get your idea of if that actually is helping anything. And then number two, I am originally from Pennsylvania, and fracking is a huge issue, and I just want to know your ideas on that. I'll take it off there. Thanks.
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you. So first of all, protesting absolutely is helpful. I think anything that mobilizes people to give them a positive outlet for the angst that they have is very, very helpful, because we're watching that turn into people calling their representatives and their senators and their state representatives. And we're watching the successes that we've had in Congress, which has been multiple. I mean, we killed Trump Care the first time, not because of the Tea Party, but because of the moderates and the people in swing districts that we're hearing from all of you. So it's very, very helpful, but we've got to sustain that through 2018. In Wisconsin, when we had the collective bargaining changes, we refer to that period as the uprising. There was a long statutory gap to the recall elections, and there weren't things for people to do. So I think it's important that you keep having those activities for people to have that shared experience and that protest, because a lot of people have a lot of anxiety, but we're winning, and we can keep winning if we keep the energy up. Secondly, on fracking, I think in this Congress, you're going to have a hard time seeing changes, but I've introduced bills in the past with Jan Schakowsky and many others to ban fracking on public lands until we've got some more certainty. Clearly, we know in areas like Oklahoma and other places are having earthquakes that never had them before because of the fracking, what it does to putting into our water supply. a lot more needs to, I think, be explored to make sure our workers are safe and the local waterways and communities are safe where the fracking is occurring.
McWayne in Chino Valley, Arizona. McWayne, you are on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Yes, Congressman. I was wondering, I understand we've just recently resumed testing nuclear weapons, and your opinion of why, when North Korea does it, we find it provocative and threaten airstrikes, and when we do it, it's what, just profitable business as usual?
Yeah, I come from I think the school of thought is, the more we can reduce the use of nuclear weapons, period, the better. Back in the nuclear freeze movement in the early 80s, I was active doing that kind of work as well. So, regardless, I think across the country, across the world, we need to have fewer nukes, which is, I think, part of the problem with North Korea. You've got someone who is a very erratic leader who's going to perhaps acquire weapons that can be a problem in the area. I think there's a fair conversation around that. Where I think we're smarter is working with China, who is the main economic partner, to try to deal with it rather than the chest pounding and what we're seeing, the bravado of a person with low approval ratings. You start wondering why maybe the aggressiveness from Trump is as aggressive as it is on that issue. But, I think you're right overall. I think we're a better world if we have fewer nuclear weapons, period, for a multitude of reasons.
Elizabeth in Belleville, Wisconsin. You're on the air with Congressman Pocan. Elizabeth?
Oh, hello.
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi. So I've never done this before, so sorry.
Okay.
I wanted Representative Pocan to address the efforts on the part of Republican states to amend the Constitution, and these efforts are supported by the Koch brothers and by ALEC. And I'd just like him to explain to everybody what this might do and why they're doing it.
Elizabeth, are you talking about the conventionofstates.com, I think is the website, this group that is actually doing dress rehearsals here in the United States? They've got 32 states so far to amend the Constitution and turn it into a right-wing document, do away with the Commerce Clause, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Congressman?
Yeah, you summed it up well, Tom. And I think the reason Elizabeth is concerned, and Belleville's in my district, so hello, Elizabeth, is because in Wisconsin, they're one of the states that haven't done it yet. And I think, they're looking to fall in line. If they just get, I think it's 3 or 4 more states to fall in line, we're going to have this process opened up. And it's not being done with any good intentions. It's being totally funded by folks that want to do, a lot of bad things by having that process open. So another reason why elections matter, elections have consequences. And in 2018, where generally fewer people get out to vote, we need to sustain the energy. There are some state legislative races in 2017 in some states in the country. Most are in 2018. But, though I came from 14 years in the legislature before I got to Congress, crucial decisions happen at that level. So as much as people call their members of Congress and their U.S. senators, they need to call their state representatives and state senators as well.
Well said. Kirk in Ukiah, California. You are on the air with Congressman Pocan.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call, Tom. And thank you, Congressman, for being a regular on this program. I enjoy listening to you every time you're on the program. And also, depending on your national aspirations, I would say it's a wise decision. As a longtime listener, I listen to Brunch with Bernie on a regular basis, and I think this program had a lot to do with his popularity. I just have a quick question, and I'll take it off the air. As a Democrat, longtime Democrat, I'm really concerned about the Democratic leadership. And I'm from California. I support Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, so forth. But I think after the last election, we kind of needed a kind of clean slate, I guess you might say. And I supported the other gentleman that ran against Pelosi, and he didn't stand a chance. And also Keith Ellison. I really supported him as chairman of the DNC, and that didn't happen. So I'll take my answer off the air, and thanks again for all you do.
Yeah, well, thank you, Kirk. I appreciate your kind comments. And, I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm especially proud of in Congress is being the first vice chair of the Progressive Caucus. We're the largest values-based caucus within the Democratic Party, 74 people strong. I think we are leading the legislative arm of the resistance. And I'll tell you, I think as we look forward to Congress and the Senate, the more we can get progressives being more active and more into leadership positions, the better it is for the overall policy goals that we have. This last freshman class, we got some great new progressives that came in. Pramila Jayapal from Washington State, Jamie Raskin from Maryland, Ro Khanna. I probably should start going down the list. I'm getting in trouble, from California. But a lot of really great new people, plus the class before. In my class, we had a bunch of folks that came in, Mark Takano and Matt Cartwright and others. Bottom line is, I think what we need to do is just make sure that the stronger we are as a progressive caucus through our progressive budget and some of the activities we do both inside and outside of the Capitol is building the power that we can have within our caucus so that our ideas aren't the ideas that come eventually into place, but they're the ideas that Democrats are leading on. And I'm seeing a lot of that right now. I think that what you're going to find is Democrats in general are really now listening to the people, and the people are, I think, far more progressive than the leadership generally has been. And I think there's a real movement to make sure we're listening to people as we move into 2018. So I'm very optimistic, but I think we still have a lot of progressive infrastructure to build to make sure that we're in our best place possible.
Yeah, and that best place will help win elections. I am convinced of it. Congressman Mark Pocan is with us, taking your calls for the hour. We'll be back with more of your calls for him. You can reach him at pocan.house.gov, or you can tweet him at @RepMarkPocan, MarkPocan. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit thomhartmann.com for audio and video archives.
Back with more of your calls for Congressman Pocan right after this.